The grip is another very important factor when choosing a racket, mainly because it is the single part of the racket to which you'll be physically connected when you're actually playing. Hi, I'm Seb Proisy, and thanks to tennis majors and all our videos, you can find out everything there is to know about tennis equipment. We'll tell you what the pros use to be at their best and what you should use to have the most fun and win the most matches. We'll be testing all the rackets, all the shoes, and everything else a tennis player needs throughout the year. And all the tests will be conducted in a completely independent manner. In today's episode, we'll be discussing the grip of the racket. The first thing to know about grips is that there are a total of 7 sizes. In Europe, we use a simple numbered notation from 0 to 6. In the US, however, we use inches. And because grips have a circumference between 4 and 5 inches, we use fractions of an inch to describe grip sizes. The difference between the two notations is often the source of some confusion among players who travel internationally. So it's a good thing to keep this chart in mind. It's important to note that the grip size 0 is usually the standard on junior rackets. So now that we know all this, how do you actually decide what's the right grip size for you? Well, in reality, there are a number of ways to choose the right grip size. One of which involves placing your palm directly on one of the 2 largest sides of the grip and keeping your thumb in a thumbs up position. With your opposite hand, place your index finger in the space between your thumb and the other fingers. If it's a tight fit, the grip is too small. And if there's space in between, then it's probably too big. This technique, however, is not ideal for everyone, especially if you have big hands and thin fingers or small hands and thick fingers. But even though most people can use this technique as a reference point, it really just comes down to personal preference. However, there is one important thing to know about how small or big grip will affect your game. To help illustrate my point, try to clench your fist and move your wrist around. And notice how mobile we are. Now try doing the same thing while holding a tennis ball. It should be a bit more difficult. So there you have it. Relatively speaking, playing with a smaller grip will allow you to play with more topspin because your wrist will be allowed to move more freely. If you like to play flat, however, a grip that feels bigger might be a good option because the racket will be less likely to move around in your hand on off-centered shots. When choosing your grip size, also keep in mind that it's a lot easier to make the grip bigger than it is to make it smaller. Adding an overgrip will usually widen the grip by about half a size and only add a little weight to your racket. You can also add a heat shrink sleeve to go up a full size, but this will add a lot of weight to your racket. When it comes to making it smaller, you've got 3 options. You could either take off your overgrip if you're using one, you could use a thinner replacement grip, or you could even use solely an overgrip, but that would make the grip feel quite hard on your hands. There are some professional racket customizers out there who can remodel your grip entirely by shaving it off, but they're quite hard to find and their services are really expensive. It's also important to know that racket brands have different grip shapes. You might notice that Head rackets have a more rectangular shaped grip, while Babolat and Yonex rackets have a more rounded grip. That's because the bevels, which are the sides of the grip, come in different lengths depending on the brand. There are literally hundreds of different replacement grips and overgrips available. They come in different thicknesses, different colors, with different amounts of foam, and are sometimes made up of different materials altogether. All these factors will affect how the grip feels. For example, using a leather grip will make your grip feel a lot harder than using a soft, absorbent grip. And if you combine that with the choice of an overgrip, there are close to endless possibilities to customize the feel of your racket. If you like the classic feel of a leather grip, however, you might want to make sure you use an overgrip because the leather can be quite damaging to your hands in terms of blisters. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, you can like and share, or even better, subscribe to our channel. And for my part, I'll see you next time. C'est horrible, j'adore.